I'm Andy Swain. I'm Secretary of the Orkney Men's Shed. The Men's Shed movement is probably worldwide now, but it started in Australia in the late 1990s, where they were finding, I think it was in a mining village, where the mine had shut, and the men were fundamentally, had nothing to do and were basically drinking themselves to death. So they decided to set up, first of all, I think they had a get-together club, come and drink tea, and then it moved on to having a workshop and making things, because there's wonders in actually making things. And there's a saying that goes around the shed is that men don't talk face to face, they talk shoulder to shoulder. I think it was Morgan, who's our chairman, first heard about it when he was visiting friends down in Aberdeen at West Hill Men's Shed, which was the first shed set up in Scotland. And they came up here in 2015, end of 2015, probably this time, and had a talk about it. And then 5 of us got together after that talk and we started setting up the shed. We spent the first 2 years struggling to find a building, because it's really, we met in various places in St Coombs and things like that, but you almost need your own building, you need your own workshop. And we were lucky enough to find a place in Maitland Place in Finnstown. So we set up there for 2 years until, unfortunately, when we tried to expand, put a disabled toilet on and a ramp, we hit problems with planning. So we had to leave there. And just at about the same time that lockdown came in. And so we spent 2 years in the wilderness, basically, until we were offered this building. And there's some of the council officials, particularly John Mundell and Karen Greaves and James Stocken, did wonders for us. There's a woodworking workshop downstairs, and we hope to have some metalworking area down there. Upstairs here, we have a craft room and a computer room. Here where we're sitting is the electrical repair room, where we've been sort of rescuing stuff that would be thrown away, and a lot of it can be repaired quite easily. And then we sell it on as part of our funding, because as an organisation, we're a charity in our own right. So, but we receive no funding apart from what we can get from making things or doing things. Early days was we made a shed for the Blue Door, which was the biggest thing we ever made. And we had great fun making it in the old building at Finnstown. And someone had measured the door through which we could get it out. And unfortunately, the doorway was actually curved. And as someone said, if we put another coat of paint on it, we wouldn't have got it out. And it was fun because we had to get a lorry with a crane so to actually deliver it down to the Victoria Street. And then we built a bike shed for the infants at Stromness Primary. We've built outdoor musical instruments from the special needs kids at Galatness. We did for is it Simba, the child? We built them a sort of bit of a gazebo for the garden opposite Shearers. We did, it keeps on going, steps for the riding for disabled. They wanted steps so they could help the folk up on horses. I think we're beginning to come as a place that people need help, they come to, because there's so much missing with support in terms. I mean, I must tell you, the classic one was I think it was Morgan, had a phone call from a chap up in Rendell who had a disabled buggy, but he couldn't get it out of his house because there's a step to get out. So he phoned one lunchtime to us, and by 4 o'clock that day, we'd made him a ramp, and suddenly he could get out into his house, out into his garden, and just little things like that. Something we're very careful about is make sure that people are competent at what they're doing, because we've got some dangerous machinery down there. So people aren't really allowed to use till they prove that they can use the equipment. And we have, as you say, we have so many skills that if, say, Donny Grieve, who runs our workshop, who knows everything, master of all, but there's so many other trades that you can ask and get help with. And you just pass it on and do it. And projects downstairs, we either get together and do it as a group, or sometimes individuals want to come in and make something, and that's possibly when they need some help to do things. Each shed is individual, and it reflects all the individuals. So I know some of the Irish sheds are doing weaving and spinning, things like that. Here, people seem to more want to do woodwork, metalwork, and model making. But Simon's hoping to get more people using computers, which will come along. And here, where we're sitting again, is the repair shop. So we're trying to rescue stuff from the tip. We used to feed ourselves, basically. Someone used to come with soup. In Finstown, though, we were often supporting Lee's van. But here, we've got a proper kitchen. So there have been ideas of not only sort of feeding ourselves, but starting to teach cooking, because there are one or two of the members that are ex-cooks or chefs. So, and there are men that boiled eggs become a problem. So we're here to provide the facilities, and if anyone comes up with a different idea, wants to go some way, different way, they're welcome to, and we'll help them do that. Currently, I think we've got something like 150 members, and we regularly get 20 plus on a Tuesday or on a Thursday, which are the only 2 days we're open at the moment. And it's probably the key thing is, even though things are being done, it's for men's mental health and sense of well-being, because men, we are nowhere near as good as women in terms of getting on, doing things, meeting and talking. So that's one of the major, and we see the results of it. We get regular reports from family members saying how dad or how husband has changed and loves coming here. So we used to have Thursday evenings at Finstown for people that, the original intention was for those that are working, but there was a group came that just wanted to chat and do classic Orcadian things of swapping stories, working out who's related to who, and all the various ins and outs of that. And to be, as an outsider, to be included in something like that is wonderful, actually. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's hard work at times. And I always joke by saying I made the mistake of turning up with pencil and paper at the first meeting, so I ended up as secretary. But I've met so many people I'd never meet. Even though Orkney is a very friendly thing, I stay in Stromness, so I wouldn't have got to know people in Rend or Bursey or things like that. And yeah, it's made a world of difference.